Hello there. My name is Ulrich Schubert, and I'm a management trainer and business coach specialized on remote presentation techniques. In this short video, I'd like to share some of the insights about remote presentations that I made in 2020. So here we are. 2020 is finally over. What a tough year. It was full of change and uncertainty, upsetting routines and moving us out of our comfort zones. It was one big challenge of a year. But for me, personally, it was also a year full of learning. Above all, about how to deliver remote training sessions and remote presentations, how to use video conferencing software, and how to connect to remote audience. So I learned about how to read the virtual room and how to get people engaged about what I was telling them and how to get them interacting with me. And also about a lot of tech stuff. Zoom, WebEx, Teams, Hangout, GoToMeeting, Big Blue Button, and so on. As well as cameras, lights, background, all this technical stuff. So 2020 was a very dynamic year. But at the end of the year, I finally found some peace and was able to do some research on remote presentations, basically to confirm the impressions that I had gathered throughout the year. And out came three main problems that people are facing when presenting to a remote audience. Not getting reactions, some 70%. Not being able to see the audience, 65%, pretty close. And technical problems such as internet crashing, about half of the people that I talk to. So what I see is that people are doing online meetings, online presentations, online events, and complain about not getting reactions. They tell me they don't know what their audience is doing, if they're really listening, they're paying attention, so they're not able to read the virtual room. But then I realize that people are presenting to an audience that has their camera switched off. I mean, the speaker usually has it switched on, but the audience has it off. And then they're wondering why they can't read the room? I mean, would you be presenting on a physical stage with your eyes closed? Or with all the lights switched off? No way. You would never do that. So when you're presenting remotely, you need to be able to see your audience. You need to see whom you're talking to. You need to see the reactions, facial expression, if somebody raises their hand, in order to be able to evaluate if people are engaged or if they're just checking their email next to your talk. So if you don't see your audience, you can't adapt, right? You can't adapt your voice, you can't adapt your pace, you can't adapt your body language, you can't adapt the content of your presentation, your argumentation. You can't adapt to the current mood in the virtual room. And so it happens much easier that you miss out on people's interests. And as a consequence, it's pretty easy for them to get bored, right? Distracted or multitasking. So how can you see your remote audience in online presentations? How can you get them to switch on their cameras? And how can you establish eye contact with them? Here's my first tip. Get people camera ready. My experience shows that people got used to not switching on their cameras because they're at home and maybe didn't tidy up, or maybe they're still in their pajamas, or they didn't simply put on their makeup or brush their hair. So they're not ready to switch on the camera. So my idea is let them know in advance that you want them to switch on their cameras. Give them a chance to prepare and get camera ready. Tell them that for you as a speaker, it's important to see them. That body language greatly improves communication. I mean, we all know that it's necessary, right? So I've developed a habit of letting people know in advance that I'd like them to switch on their cameras. Every time I send out an invite for a video conference, be it for a training or for a presentation or for an event, I put it in there that I would like people to please switch on their cameras throughout the whole event. That does not solve the problem 100%, obviously. There will always be somebody who simply doesn't have a webcam or who doesn't have sufficient bandwidth to support it or, well, anything else. But that's also not necessary, right? If you get 90% of your participants to switch on their camera, that's enough to read the virtual room. And telling them in advance just simply increases the likelihood of them doing so. And be aware that switching on the camera is the basis for all other video interaction. It's a basis for being able to read the room, for reading the body language of your participants, for getting reactions, for interacting, right? It just makes virtual presentations much more dynamic and interactive if you can actually see each other. So in my opinion, not switching on the camera really is the root of the whole problem. If participants have their camera switched off, you're not able to see your audience, there's no video interaction, there's no visual feedback from the audience, so you're basically blind. And as a presenter, you don't want to be blind. So if you're in this situation that you need to present online, be it to colleagues, to teammates, to clients or potential clients, or also to your students if you're a teacher, and you're not seeing participants, you're not getting reactions, there's no interaction with your audience, then my recommendation would be start by getting them to switch on their cameras. Tell them in advance that you would like them to do it. Underline the importance of it. Make your point, right? Or even better, in team meetings, establish a culture of where people switch on their camera by default. In the end, the term is video conferencing, right? We all learned in 2020 that this is a very great tool that can bridge kilometers around the globe. But the thing is, it starts with video conferencing. That means video, seeing people, seeing each other. So if you follow that short advice, I promise you that your remote presentations are just going to be much livelier, much more interactive, and much more engaging for your participants. I hope you liked this short video. If you did so, please leave a comment below and stay tuned for more. See you around.